Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another action-packed episode of the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I am your host, Brent Piles, and with me, as always, is a man who is from across the ocean and from the future. He is the barber rolling disco dancing dynamite stretching intercontinental playboy. Folks, he's more over than Tottenham is with Tottenham fans. It's at GA Wrestling Night. Glenn Havoc. Glenn, how you doing?
Oh dear.
Glenn, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well. North London, it remains red. We got a result at their ground, which is perfect.
Missing two of our most important players.
Yeah, that's it. Amazing. Amazing. The guys did brilliantly. And I'm going to apologise to everybody now because the house where I am living is a shared accommodation, and the guy who had the internet has had it cut off. So I'm having to use my 4G or wherever it is on my phone to record this tonight.
I think all things considered, it's working out pretty well. So
Good. That's so far.
it's working out good. So we're not going to talk too much about the football. We beat them 1-0. We're going to get right into the wrestling. That way that we don't get any. Since it's working good now, we don't want it to play up. So we're going to get right into
No,
it so we can get it going. If you know what I mean.
definitely.
So what we're reviewing today is the WWF No Way Out of Texas. It's still an in your house branded pay per view. I don't know if you noticed they still have the in your house ring skirts.
Yes. Yeah.
The only difference
Yeah.
is good.
I did notice that they were calling it in your house. No way out of Texas.
Yeah, they were like sneaking the of Texas in there. Like I didn't even know it
Yeah.
until they kept saying it. Yeah. So of course it took place on the 15th of February from the Compact Center, also known as, I think most people know it as, the Summit in Houston, Texas. Opened in 1973, it was a home to the NBA's Houston Rockets from 75 until 2003. The first ever wrestling event held at this arena was held on May. Damn, screen went blank. Hold on. May 29th, 1977, where the AWA champion Nick Bockwinkel defended the championship against Terry
Wow.
Funk. They wrestled to a draw, held the match.
Terry Funk was still around then.
He said, Bockwinkel, your mother's whore. The funny thing is, Terry Funk's still doing it. He did it in 1977, still doing it in 1998 because he's on this fucking show. So
Yep.
that's crazy. It also held the 1989 Royal Rumble, which was won by John Studd. It also held the last time WWF had a Bad Blood pay-per-view was held at the Summit, which was in June of 2003. As you know, Bad Blood is going to be returning, I think, the first week of October.
Yes.
It also held the iconic September 13th edition of SmackDown, September 13th, 2001, which was the first major entertainment event held after the 9/11 terrorist attacks in the United States. So that's a pretty it's a pretty iconic SmackDown. A lot of people remember. I think they
Yeah.
even have a documentary about that on Peacock and the network about that.
I bet. Yeah.
Yeah. This place now is actually owned by the Lakewood Church. It's called the Lakewood Church Central Campus. So it is owned by the Lakewood Church. Apparently, this giant arena now. Apparently, I'm sure God's making a lot of money in Texas, Glenn. That God is getting paid in Texas. That's all I will say.
God makes a lot of money everywhere in your goddamn country. Well, a lot. His so-called or his or her so-called representatives make a lot of money in God's name.
Which, okay, I'm sorry to go on this here, and if you're a religious person, forgive me, But doesn't it say in the Bible that you're not supposed to do that? Aren't you not supposed to make an idol of
Yep,
yourself? Isn't that?
that's right. Yeah, no, there's plenty of them on TV networks all over the world.
I'm just saying. Anyway, as the show comes on the air, they show a really great video package, of course, because it's WWE and they always show great video packages. But we do find out that Shawn Michaels will not be in the main event this evening, and they don't know who will be taking his place. So,
yeah, and they keep on pushing that the whole of the show. And we'll get to that when we get to the ugly later. Because it was a little bit of an anticlimax, shall we say. No spoilers at this point.
That was it. Might be the most anticlimactic, most anticlimactic thing that has ever happened. So the first match was Marc Mero with Sable. He's going to be teaming with the artist formerly known as Goldust, who's got Luna with him, and they're going to be taking on the Headbangers. The artist, of course, is still dressed as Marilyn Dust. Mero immediately gets on the mic and says, "Sorry, there's only enough room for one woman out here. Sable, get the hell out of here!" It kicks her out, and yeah,
of course.
What do you think about this match?
I enjoyed it actually. Out of all the bloody nonsense they've done, they actually got a good match. Well, the Headbangers got a good match out of them. As I said to you in our little chat, is Mero, Johnny B. Bad, was a good wrestler. When Vince got hold of him and found out he couldn't be Johnny B. Bad, he ruined him. Dustin Reynolds or whatever his name is,
right?
Good wrestler, bad gimmick. The Headbangers, we said multiple times during 1997 what a good tag team they were. So it was about time that these four had a good match, and they did.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, if you strip away the gimmick, and I don't think the Goldust gimmick was bad when it initially started, but this whole weird stuff that he's doing now isn't good. I don't think.
No, it's not good at all.
It's morphed into something strange.
Yeah.
But yeah, I basically feel the same way as you. Like when you look at it on paper, you think, "Oh no, this probably isn't going to be all that great." But when you start to watch it, you see. I mean, it's not a great match by any means. I won't even say it was good. I'd say it's decent, at best. But when you throw it on everything else that we're going to talk about on this card, it's actually one of the better parts of the show. When you go back and look at it, and it's funny because you talk about that with Marc Mero. See, even when I was a kid, I always thought Marc Mero was cool, but obviously you think it was cooler as a kid. But I go back now and watch it. What are you gonna say?
Being busted up, gave the heels a target, and the more he bled, the more a target. Yeah, Thrasher being busted open actually added to it, I think, because it gave the heels a target, and it also gave the commentary a chance, something to talk about. Well, I will come to those two clowns. How anybody can look back on this year and say that Jerry the King Lawler and as ever, I don't know. JR does his best, but there's so much bickering.
Yeah, I don't.
Everyone can see and hear you. Well, they can't.
All right, I think we're back. Maybe.
Yeah, so Thrasher being busted open actually helped the match.
Yeah, definitely added something to it, and like you said, gave JR and the King something other than discussing whatever's going on with Goldust.
Hello, I'm here. Hey, Dick.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Oh, okay. I thought you said I'm here, like you couldn't hear me.
Mm-hmm. Now I can hear you fine. Just trying to find the best spot in the room.
Oh, okay.
Here we go. See where this goes.
So yeah, eventually, Luna gets involved. She knocks Thrasher off the top rope, which brings Sable back down to the ring. Mero hits the TKO on Mosh, but he and Thrasher do the old switcheroo, do the old twin magic, and Thrasher rolls up Mero for the pin. After the match, Sable is in the ring. She's like challenging Luna to a fight, but everybody's holding them back. Like I said, not a good match, not a bad match, but a good match at least.
No. It got the crowd were into it, so it warmed the crowd up nicely.
That's another thing.
Which sadly couldn't be said for the next match.
That's another thing about this show is I didn't think the crowd wasn't very good for most of the matches. They were maybe into like 3 matches.
Yeah, but when you're going to have heel-on-heel matches and people that nobody's interested in, you can't expect them to.
Right.
Yeah, the Attitude Era at this stage is all about Austin.
Right.
Everybody is for Steve Austin and nothing else.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Then we sorry. Keep going.
So throwing a light heavyweight match in there. We know from the regular shows that nobody's that bothered about Taka Michinoku.
Right.
The first time we saw the other geezer was on the last Raw.
El Pantera.
Pantera, yeah. Well, no, 2 Raws ago. Because he tagged with
Christopher.
Taka. He tagged with Taka in the first one and turned on him, and then tagged with Christopher in the next one. So yeah, I can't understand. It just seems to be a vehicle to get Sonny out. This light heavyweight division.
Probably. Yeah. I mean, JR tells us when the match started that this is the first time Taka has defended the championship on a pay-per-view since winning it. So if that doesn't tell you why nobody takes this seriously, I don't know what does. And then to make matters worse, they have Brian Christopher come down and on commentary, which makes matters even worse.
Oh God. Him and the King together. It was blatant racism. It wasn't even overt racism. They were blatantly racist against Taka Michinoku.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to do that.
No, God, no.
No. That would be...
I'm surprised I got away with it then, to be honest.
Yeah, they say stuff that makes you go, oh. Don't say that. They actually try to make Hispanic jokes against him, too.
Yeah.
It's like, I think you guys are confused.
Yeah, it's that thing of
one thing they called Taka did a flying burrito, and I'm like, he's what, huh?
Yeah,
that's not even. What are we doing?
Yeah, God, there were so many bad things about it. For me to physically get shocked by what they're saying. I was a teenager growing up in the 1970s where everything went.
Right.
You can say anything about anybody and nobody got upset about it.
Right.
So, but yeah, that's got to be on an ugly. The commentary. Two decent cruiserweight wrestlers there, but just the commentary and having Brian Christopher out there, everything about it left a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah, I mean, if you took away everything else, the match would have been good, but it was just nobody cared. The commentary was stupid. Yeah, Taka wins with a missile drop kick and a Michinoku driver after the match. They look like they're going to attack him, so Taka jumps off the top rope onto King and Brian Christopher, and then they try to get in the ring and get after him, but he jumps through the middle rope and just jumps through the crowd and runs through the crowd so they can't get him.
Excellent. Yeah. I don't know why more people don't do that when they've got a gang after them.
It makes the most
If you're outnumbered, get out of Dodge.
Or go find a fucking weapon. That's what I would do.
Yeah, well, that's it. Which we will come to.
Hold on.
Somebody that was sensible enough to bring a weapon to the ring.
Hold on, I gotta go get my dogs. Well, Glenn, are you ready to go from bad to worse?
Yep.
Because the next match is the Godwinns taking on the Quebecers. Deep in the heart of Texas.
Where'd you start? A couple of hog farmers against a couple of French Canadians in Texas. Both heeled tag teams. Both mid-card at best. It wasn't even a good time filler because it dragged on and on and on.
This match got 11 minutes and 15 seconds, and it felt every bit of it.
I was going to say, is that all it was? Because it felt like 25, 30 minutes.
The only thing, Glenn, that would have made this more interesting was the only thing that would have made it interesting at all was if it was a slot bucket on a pole match, and they didn't do that.
Yep. No. They didn't even finish it properly with the slot buckets. Just attacking them and hitting them over the head with two empty buckets. They achieved nothing.
Right. Should have slapped him at least.
Yeah.
So, like, we reviewed all of 1997 and Warring the Attitude. If you haven't listened to that, do that. And we've done 2 months of 1998 so far. And I would say one of my least favorite, worst booked characters in all of that time that we've been watching is the Godwinns. I don't think I've enjoyed one feud that they've had. I think every feud they've been in, I've just been hoping that it would end.
Yeah, and this was the worst of the lot.
Yeah, it makes no sense. Nobody cared, and I don't know why anybody would care. I want this 11 minutes and 15 seconds of my life back, but I never will.
No, that's it.
I put this in my notes, and I messaged you this. To call this match a slow-paced match would give a bad name to slow-paced matches. That's how bad it is.
It certainly would.
This wasn't a pay-per-view match. It wasn't a Monday Night Raw match. It wasn't a Shotgun Saturday Night match even. It would have been embarrassing to have this on a house show.
It certainly would have, yeah. Because people have fun at house shows and there was no fun to be had in this at all.
Yeah. I think we can both probably agree on this. The only person in this match that was impressive, even in the slightest, was PCO.
Yeah.
Even the slightest. Nobody else.
Yeah, just no. I must say that is it Jacques Rougeau?
Yes.
It was impressive how he had his hair cut where he had a mullet at the back
nothing.
And nothing on top. And then the business at the front. That was impressive.
It was like he had a mullet, then it stopped, and then it became a mullet again.
Yeah, that's it.
He had the longest hair of any person I've ever seen who had no hair on the top of his head.
Yeah, that's it. Part at the back, nothing on top, the business at the front.
Yeah, it was something. It was impressive. It really was. That and PCO was the only impressive thing of this match. The Godwinns won it with the fucking clothesline.
Yes.
Hold on. Spark!
That says it all, really.
Sorry, dog sparking.
That's all right.
Yeah.
That says it all, really. I think we just move on from it. But no point.
Even the finish was boring.
Yeah.
Next match was Jeff Jarrett defending his NWA North American Championship against Justin Bradshaw. Introduced him.
I love the fact that Bradshaw came armed with a ball rope. Talk about working the gimmick to the home crowd.
Very Stan Hansen-esque, yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, as far as what we've seen so far, this is probably the best match on the show, but that's not saying a whole lot.
No, it's not saying a lot at all. If Jeff Jarrett is the best match on the show. And I suppose, can't. No. It's a totally different gimmick. He's Aztec Jarrett now. They changed the music and everything.
Fighting hard at the Aztec, but I keep getting killed, so I might. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hold on. My dog is being a dickhead. 1 second.
Go.
Hey, man. Hey, back.
Got some editing to do there. You left it recording.
That's all right. It'll be okay. I just look for the audio breaks. Yeah, I mean the people actually didn't care about this match either. You figured because he was from Texas, they were going crazy like when he came out at first. It's like, oh my god, he's got a bull rope. I have the bull rope. We have bull ropes. It's Texas.
Yeah.
Texas has a bull rope. Just like everybody assumes I'm in Nebraska, so I live on a farm. So if you want to stereotype you Texas, how do you like that?
Yeah. And husk corn.
That's right. But yeah, what do you think about this match?
I can't say I am overly enamored with Jeff Jarrett in this new persona, but it was all right for what it was. I understand, at least with this, I understand what they're trying to do.
Right.
They're trying to recreate that NWA feel. With cornet cheating and using the gimmick tennis racket, and like we said, the Rock and Roll Express are a bad substitute for Midnights.
Right.
As far as being a heel tag team go, but
yeah. Yeah, I mean, compared to the last match, this match started at light speed. I mean, I thought Bradshaw looked really big.
Oh yeah.
Impressive when he first got in there.
Mm.
I like the part where Jeff Jarrett like landed like a kick on Bradshaw. Bradshaw ducked down and Jarrett kicked him, and Bradshaw just stood up and then clotheslined him over the top rope. That was good.
Yeah.
But I think about 5 or 6 minutes into the match, Bradshaw just looked gassed. You could see like heavily breathing, I thought.
Yeah.
Eventually, of course, Cornette gets in the ring, and then Jarrett hits Bradshaw with the tennis racket, which they call for the bell. Eventually, the rest of the Barry Windham comes down with the rest of the MWA. They attack him, and then the Road Warriors come out to save Bradshaw. So I guess the Road Warriors are now going to join Bradshaw in this fight against the NWA.
No.
I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, it was what it was.
Yeah, it was.
It was fine. That's all we can say about this. It was fine.
So the one promo that I want to talk about was they show Hunter with China, and they ask him who's going to be the fourth person. He said, everybody's been trying to get on this because everybody wants to be a member of DX and blah, 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 blah. But no one can replace Shawn Michaels. So tonight it'll be 3-on-4. But then, Michael Cole says, oh, if you don't pick somebody, the World Wrestling Federation is going to give you a partner. And he's like, well, that's fine. Whoever it was,
Yeah.
blah, blah, whatever. And then we also got a promo from the Nation of Domination. Now, this is more warring to attitude that we used to do this, but this promo was like the mannerisms of a certain person in this promo. I felt like we had to view it. So I made a little clip of this promo of the Nation of Domination here. So let's have a look at it.
Thanks a lot, JR.
Oh, God, yeah.
Will be the bomb, but like
yes,
said,
thank
we are moments
you.
away from the War
So I was going to say, I hope you got this.
Obviously, a favorite. You guys have teamed up many times. The same cannot be said about your opponents, but in recent weeks, we have seen some dissension in the Nation. One has to wonder, will we see a disintegration in the Nation tonight? And I guess the best way to find out is to ask the leader of the Nation of Domination.
Well, it's a good thing, Doc, that you asked the You're just begging me to whoop your ass, ain't you? Now, you know what? Now, I don't know who you've been talking to, but it's obvious that you hadn't talked to me. I pull rank around here, and everybody better remember that. When I say fall in, that's exactly what I mean. Now, I'm going to show you tonight when I say fall in, I'm going to make Ken Shamrock, DOA, Ahmed Johnson, and everybody else fall in right behind me.
Well, speaking about fall, I don't have to remind you, but he is the world's most dangerous man.
Listen, man, let me tell you something. The most dangerous man, I've lived in some of the most dangerous neighborhoods. Do you think that mean anything to me? No, I've got another story for you. We're going to go out here and show you exactly what we stand for. When I say kick anybody's ass, I mean by any means necessary tonight.
I love this because Farouk is like a father with his naughty child with The Rock.
Yeah. Or like his annoying little brother who's doing the bunny ears behind him in the
yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, it was
yeah.
And the look on his face is so good. Yeah. We then get into something that's been much of a debate. It's the War of Attrition match, Glenn. And we always wondered, what exactly is a War of Attrition match? And I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it's a 5-on-5 match because it was the same thing.
It turns out that nobody knew what a War of Attrition match was. And they just turned it into a 10-man tag match.
Yeah, you would have thought it would be something like the main event, but it wasn't at all.
Well, you would at least thought that it would be elimination. So it's sort of like a Survivor Series type match. So that one team is experiencing the attrition while the other one's on top.
Right, because attrition means like elimination. At least that's what JR said.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We won't go into that again because we've got lectured on that before about what attrition means.
I don't remember half of anything anyone tells me anyway. So I forgot already. Uh-oh. You froze a little bit.
back to the. Yeah, nobody seemed to know what attrition meant. Like I said, we won't go into that again on what I think attrition means. But it certainly was a 5-on-5 tag match with one fall to decide the winners.
Yeah, no, I've never heard it called that before.
No.
I don't think I ever will.
So it's like most of the things from this pay-per-view. We sung the praises for last week's go-home show because they told so many good stories, hyped up the pay-per-view, and it basically just shut all over the expectation from last week.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can understand the problem with Shawn Michaels, but surely they knew before then that he had back problems.
Oh, well, yeah, of course. The old bait and switch.
Could have planned accordingly, but yeah, well, how many times in 1997 did we get Vince saying that he wouldn't do the bait and switch?
Yep.
How many times has he done it since?
more times than I got fingers and toes, I think.
Exactly, yeah. Anyway,
Mark Henry in the ring, and he calls Ahmed Johnson into the ring. Did you? I felt like they were really throwing rounds at each other, didn't you?
Oh, they were. That was two meaty men slapping meat, definitely.
But unfortunately,
I don't think there's any love lost between those two.
But unfortunately, after the second punch, Ahmed Johnson broke every finger on his right hand, his wrist, his arm, and his elbow. It was never to be seen again. I'm just kidding. That didn't happen.
No, but you'd expect it to with his record, especially with the nation.
It wouldn't be a surprise
because either he's fighting against them or with them, he ends up injured every time.
Every single time, yeah. He couldn't beat them nor join them.
No,
neither one. He could injure them in himself. Bruce Pritchard once said, and I always think this is hilarious, he said that Ahmed Johnson wasn't prejudiced. He'd injure himself just as much as he'd injure other people.
Yeah, that's very true.
Which I thought was pretty funny. Did you have anything from this match that you liked? This
no.
Is where I'll start. Okay.
No. Unfortunately.
I didn't think so. Oh, god damn it.
Bit like my connection, really. I think, no, it was just so disappointing, really. They built it up, nothing happened.
Yeah, and then the ending was really the only good part because it was like finally the last 30 seconds it actually turned into what we would decipher as a war, and they start brawling everywhere. But then immediately Ken Shamrock belly to belly suplexes The Rock, puts him in the ankle lock, and taps him out, and the war is over just as it's just getting started. So,
yeah, well, I suppose the only decent thing about this is that Ken Shamrock was over with the crowd.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's the only plus thing to say about that.
And I think what happened after the match was probably more interesting than what happened during the match, you know?
Oh, God, yeah, with the, yeah. Yeah, they're doing a good job within the nation. Yeah, but did we need all this nonsense to get there?
You gotta do what you gotta do. Sometimes you have to suffer to get to the good. After the match, The Rock is like mad because he thinks Farouk could have helped him out with Ken Shamrock, but he didn't. So then he pushes Farouk, who bumps into D'Lo, and then Farouk, for some reason, I'm not sure why, bumped into D'Lo and then decided just to punch D'Lo. And D'Lo's like, "What the hell are you punching me for?" Which The Rock then leaves the ring, but Farouk makes him come back. He then makes everybody fall in line, and they do the by any means necessary nation salute.
Yeah.
But more dissension amongst the ranks.
Just about.
We then get Vader versus Kane.
I can't wait to see where it goes. Now we're into the good stuff. Finally, putting Kane over as this monster and putting him up against a credible opponent in Vader. It definitely worked. And Vader got a bit of offense in, but not enough to discredit Kane as the total big red machine.
Yes. It was nice that they were able to show that Kane, given against the right person, can be a little bit vulnerable, because I think sometimes when they have characters like Kane or original Undertaker or The Fiend, sometimes I feel like they make the person too invincible, and at that point it kind of takes anything away from it, because you're like, well, there's nothing anybody can do to hurt that person anyway, so why am I even going to watch this if they don't fucking sell anything? So I think it's nice. I mean, obviously, Kane shouldn't be selling to fucking Taka Michinoku, but he should be selling to Vader. But he didn't sell enough. Like, Vader threw everything he had at Kane, but Kane still pretty much dominated Vader. You know what I mean?
To Vader, yeah. Because, yeah, and what this is doing is building nice and making him look stronger when he finally beats Kane.
Yes. Because if Kane loses to Vader, the Undertaker then beats Kane, it doesn't mean anything because he lost to Vader.
No, that's right.
And it also it shows he can take it. I mean, Vader hit him with everything. And the best thing is, Glenn, they didn't wrestle with the red light, so that was good too.
No, that was another good thing. Thankfully, he actually got to see the match, because that would have been really disappointing. One of the highlights of the show, and they had it all in darkness.
It would have been the perfect thing for this show, though. It would have summed it up in one match. So Kane goes for a choke slam. Vader hits him with a low blow. He hits a moonsault from the top rope on Kane, but Kane just sits up afterwards. Vader does get a fire extinguisher out, sprays it in Kane's one good eye, as they say. But then he choke slams Vader and follows it up with a tombstone for the 3 count. And then we got a little shenanigans after the match, didn't we?
Yeah.
I'm not Vader. Vader's on.
Sorry, so I can't remember exactly what happened. Yeah,
he went out and grabbed like a big wrench. Probably like that wrench that they put between the turnbuckles to tighten the ropes. You know what I mean? They stick it in between and they turn it. So he brings it in and he clobbers Vader over the head with it. And they have to load Vader up on the stretcher and take him on out of here.
Yeah, good.
You're back. We're back.
Oh, right. I've definitely got to try and get a new lead tomorrow for this. Do it properly. Before the Sunday.
Oh, you're froze again.
Okay. We tried that. Right, let's move on to the main event because of the technical issues I'm having.
Yes. The main event, it's Stone Cold Steve Austin, Owen Hart, Cactus Jack, Triple H, and the New Age Outlaws. It's a mystery opponent. Who's it going to be? Big surprise. It's Savio Vega.
Yeah, no. Oh, talk about disappointing. We don't want anybody if we can't have Shawn. Yes, you are. You're going to have Savio Vega.
I mean, I know it's not like a huge surprise or like what not anybody would thought or but like that, but like, I guess it makes a little bit of sense because like the Los Barricos have worked with DX before.
They could have got anybody.
Sense. A little bit. What if it would have been the British Bulldog? Wouldn't that have been some shit?
Well, yeah, I suppose Salvia Vega, that would have been brilliant.
I know he was signed to WCW at the time, but I'm just saying hypothetically.
Yeah. But anybody that was more of a surprise than Savio Vega. You're replacing A, your champion, and B, one of the best wrestlers in the company, and you have Savio Vega.
Yeah. That's
all I can say about this match is thank God for Steve Austin. There is a little crumb of comfort in the fact that this actually builds towards WrestleMania.
Yeah. And the crazy part about that is the one half of the main event isn't even in it.
No.
And Austin's so hot that
it doesn't matter. No.
Yeah.
Austin will carry this.
Yep.
And getting the win is a foreshadowing of what's to come, which is good.
Yeah, I mean, this is like a really fun match. If you're gonna go, if you're out there and you want to, you think you want to go back and watch this, don't. Just watch the last two matches. That's about all you need.
Yes. Yeah, that is all you need from it.
And I messaged Glenn it was a fun match, but it's hard to take notes on because it's kind of all over the place and guys are doing all kinds of shit. And, the Outlaws set up 2 chairs, double suplex Terry Funk on it, which is the least hard thing that's ever happened to Terry Funk in his career.
That's right. My favourite bit was Mankind wrapping himself in barbed wire.
Oh, that was good, yeah. I put it in his mouth.
Yeah.
My favorite part is I think Billy Gunn and the Road Dogg are in the ring. Austin's on the apron. Austin reaches down, grabs a trash can, and just whips it across the ring and pow, hits Billy Gunn right in the fucking face. That was my favorite part. The timing of that was uncanny.
Don't you think this match was arse about face though? Oh, it was. It certainly was. Don't you think that this match was arse about face though?
Ass about face? What
they had well, I mean, it started off as an Extreme Rules match and developed into a wrestling match, rather than starting off as a wrestling match and developing into an all-out brawl, anything goes.
That's fair. Yes, it did. Yeah, at one point it did turn into a regular. It was like an 8-man tag team match, but you could still use weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they would have been better off doing it the other way round. Starting it off as an 8-man tag match, everything involved.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you there. But all in all, it was a fun match.
Yes, yeah. It's nice to finish on a. It's nice to finish on a positive note.
Mm-hmm.
This pay-per-view, I put in my 1998 as we've seen it so far. It's rubbish being saved by Steve Austin.
Yeah, you're not wrong. That's true. Most of it is rubbish that gets saved by Steve Austin. You're not wrong.
And that is where I'm going to leave it, because I can't say anything more positive than that. Austin's the man. He's over. He's carrying the company at this time.
Yeah, Austin's team wins. Obviously, he pins the Road Dogg with a stunner. He beats up everybody. China gets in his face after the match. He pushed him a couple of times, and she flips him off. He gives her a stunner, and that's how Austin's basically, the crowd's going crazy. Austin's celebrating in the ring as the show goes off the air. All in all, I did not think this was a very good pay-per-view. It was one of the worst pay-per-views from this era that I've watched so far. Most of it, I was just hoping it would end. It really was.
Yeah. And there's bits that they said we just lost time. They're never going to get back.
Yeah. So the buy rate for this show, Glenn, they did a 0.52 buy rate, which equals to about 179,000 buys, which is down from the Royal Rumble, which did 325,000 buys, but that's natural. The last In Your House pay-per-view, though, that they did in December, which is In Your House DX, did only 144,000 buys. So it is up from there.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. On the contrary, WCW ran Super Brawl 8 on February 22nd, which would have been the week after this. And they did a much better buy rate with a 1.02, which equals it to a whopping 415,000 buys, which is up from their last pay-per-view. Even their last pay-per-view, which was just sold out, did 380 buys. So WCW is still red hot at this point.
Yeah.
Do you want me to read you the matches from their Super Brawl 8 pay-per-view? And you can.
Oh, go on. Yeah. Go on. Really pissed me off.
All right, here we go, Glenn. So the show opens up with Booker T defeating Rick Martel. Okay, that's weird. And then Booker T defeated Perry Saturn right after that. So Booker T competed in 2 matches for the television title, both to open the show.
All right.
Disco Inferno defeated La Parka. Goldberg defeated Brent.
No. Why are they putting Disco Bloody Inferno over?
At least he didn't beat fucking... The worst part about this is that these people were subjected to a Disco Inferno match that went 11 minutes long, so that's got to be terrible. Chris Jericho defeated Juventud Guerrera in a masked versus title WCW Cruiserweight Championship match, so apparently Juventud Guerrera had to unmask that night. Your buddy, the British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith, defeated Steve Mongo McMichael. Diamond Dallas Page defeated Chris Benoit. Lex Luger defeated Randy Savage. The Outsiders defeated the Steiners to win the Tag Team Championships. And Sting defeated Hollywood Hulk Hogan to win the vacant WCW World Heavyweight Championship. And I'm going to be honest with you, Glenn, I wish I would have won.
Yes.
We don't usually say that. But
well. Yeah. I just watched Sting versus Hogan as opposed to anything we watched on.
Yeah, no. Absolutely.
No Way Out.
I'd rather watch Juventud Guerrera versus Chris Jericho. I'm sure that was good.
Yeah.
But there you go. There you have it. That's our No Way Out 2000. Our No Way Out of Texas review. Glenn, do you want to do the plugs before we get out of here?
Yeah, I'm booking the territory. The first and last of wrestling with their little side projects. I'm stacking the territory. The journey towards Wembley, 1981 for Big Daddy and Giant A Stacks, and the most watched wrestling match of all time at 18 million viewers. Being the elite Gator Golf, they've just finished series two of that. Put the Gator Golf clubs away and did all sorts of shenanigans in the clubhouse. And
the Doctor Who podcast with Danny Inside. That's on SJP World Media. I believe their new season just dropped, right, Glenn?
Yeah, episode 100.
Ooh! Congratulations to Danny Inside.
Yeah. So, Yeah. And as they were saying, as we've said, and you said in the past when we got 200, that people say that new podcasts don't last more than 10 episodes. So
Yep. That means you're
it's
the top like
always
3%.
good when. And talking about that, DDT Wrestling with DC and Doc, they're in like 400 and odd episodes now, so without all their little side projects.
Well, good for them. Yeah, make sure you check out all those fine people and give them a follow and a listen. Of course, give the mayor of Canton a follow on Twitter. He does a meal with the mayor every week where he tries some different stuff. So you can find something in your area that maybe you can enjoy as well. Or you can watch him eat ice cream because you can't eat ice cream yourself. But yeah, give the mayor a follow. And of course, check out Sports Riot Radio. Give our buddy Thomas Bryce a follow on all the social media platforms. And of course, check out sportswireradio.org. That's Sportswire Radio with a Z. Hit the listen live button. You hear great shows just like ours. And shout out to Tom. We appreciate everything you do out there, pal. And check out our other side projects. Of course, the Live in Time Psycho City. We put out 2 episodes last week. We'll have 1 new episode this week. And that's it. That's all. The only thing left to do is for Glenn to say goodbye.
Goodbye.